Welcome back. It is Carter Car Chats. This is episode 2. Just getting out of my work here, although I had a very short day. I do substitute teaching. I'm not going to tell you where because I want people to be safe, but had a half day, although I only taught for like 2 hours. I think the last like 45 minutes is supposed to be for planning, but I don't plan because I'm not going to stay there. So we're heading out. I do have a detailing job a bit later today though that I'm doing, so I gotta go get some stuff for that. I don't know if I have to, but it'd be better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I also want to try and find a foam sprayer for that too, just so I don't have to be so up close and personal with the water today. Because here's the thing, is that it is October 13th, Friday the 13th, and it is 40 something degrees, no, like mid 50s, but with wind it feels 40s. And water and cold do not mix very well, especially when it involves human beings. Waiting for traffic to clear. So the less I can have water on my hands / body, the better off I'll be. Today is not a cheat day, so determining what I'm going to have for lunch is also a task in all of itself. So I'll get to go and find out for myself here in a little bit. Although if I'm going to be at the store, I think I might just grab something while I'm there, or grab supplies for things I can eat while I'm there, now that I say that out loud. Come on. Alright. I taught seniors today, which is not really teaching. They know pretty well what to do, and the English teacher that I was substituting for just wrote down a list of things they need to do, and they just did it. If I'm being completely honest, I was reading for a lot of the first hour, and then I kind of put it away. I was a little bit more interactive, but it's also just kind of difficult because they're adults. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit over them and be like, okay, make sure you're doing your work. No, they just they need to remind them every once in a while, like, hey, yeah, you can't talk the entire time, but they talk for like the first 5 minutes and then just get going and get done fast at that. So, you know. Now, here's what I discovered is that 4th graders do not listen as well as kindergartners. For some reason. I think 4th graders are just a bit more stubborn because they know stuff. 5th graders are just kind of starting to figure it out, but I also feel like 4th grade is when you really start to see the effects of how they're being parented too, which is a whole can of beans that I'll probably get into now that I'm saying it. You gotta watch y'all's kids, because some 4th graders are turning out to be a piece of work. I'll say that much. What's the deal with kids thinking they have a choice when it comes to schoolwork especially? I didn't ask you no one asked you if you wanted to be here. It's just, you're gonna have to do it. Although at home, again, that's where home play comes in. Everybody, I don't understand why the whole stigma of parents like blaming the teachers is so prevalent when they're just screwing up their own kids. Like, you can't. There's such a that reaches, because it's just layers, dude, of all kinds of different. It's just layer upon layer of ridiculous patterns that are not patterns of just ridiculousness, because you have okay, well, why are they blaming the teachers? Then they look at the parents. Why aren't the parents blaming themselves? Okay, well then why aren't they blaming themselves? And then you get, well, they probably had a really rough childhood, now they're spoiling their kid. Look, I get it, you don't have to be a jerk to your kid to raise a good child. I know a lot of people that didn't raise their kids like that, but they let them know when they were doing stuff wrong. And they didn't ask them what they wanted to do, they were told what they were going to do. And if they didn't, there would be consequences. What those consequences are up to you guys, but that's just how it goes. When I was a kid, I did get spanked, but my parents did it correctly. They didn't, obviously, I'm still here, I'm not damaged or anything. They used an appropriate amount of force. They didn't bruise me, they didn't hurt me, they didn't traumatize me. Or I guess technically everything traumatizes us in some form or fashion, but I'm not like emotionally scarred. They made sure that they were calm when they did it. They weren't in the heat of the moment angry. And they explained to me why they did it afterwards. And I only needed it a couple of, I could count on one hand how many times I ever needed it with a couple fingers. It wasn't much at all, just because you kind of figure it out after a little while. So, but yeah, that's honestly just kind of part of it, is you get a lot of non-punishment at all, because I don't know why. I wish I could say why. It probably leads all the way back to the stigma of these parents were so horribly, actually I probably shouldn't say it sarcastically, they were pretty badly maybe abandoned and abused and whatever. And so you almost jump to the exact opposite end of that, where, oh geez, it's, we're gonna let the kids do whatever, which also isn't right. It's Jordan Peterson talks about the shadow or the monster or the dragon or whatever, however you want to think about it, that's kind of lives inside us all. I can't remember who he referenced, but he said our monster, our shadow. I like the monster better, just because for me it's like an actual monster. But the monster extends all the way down to hell. Like we as people, our depths of evil, or I don't know how you want to look at it, evil, wrongdoing, whatever, it is a fundamental part of us, and it sees no limits. It's only limited to how much control we have of it. That's why. But see, the thing is, you need to know your adversary in order to properly vanquish them. And if you don't meet this monster, if you don't know this monster, if you don't face this monster and tell him and defeat him and say, no, you're a part of me, yeah, but you're not in charge, he's gonna come out one way or another. And I think that's what happened with a lot of the generations now, is a lot of our parents' generations coming up, or maybe probably even a little bit before them, they faced their monster and said, hey, they didn't face their monster, and so they took that monster. When that monster came out, they had no clue what they were capable of, and they probably, I think a lot of kids, got abused because of that. And that's a horrible thing. But now there's so many parents that are afraid of the monster that they're hiding it. And it's just not the monster has his place. He has his place in time, because if we don't have a monster, then we just get trampled on. And if fundamentally, if we don't have a monster, then we get hurt by other people. The monster needs to exist, but he can't come out at the wrong points in time. So if we have the monster, that's why he needs to be faced, because we need to know when he's prone. We need to know him. We need to know when he's prone to come out, what in particular he's capable of. Because, you know, whether you look at it as sin, as wrongdoing, as evil, whatever, we're all capable. We all lean towards different things. Just in the same way that I naturally loved raising honeybees. I naturally like making things for myself. I naturally like doing these things. There's things I like. There are things that I'm naturally inclined towards that are wrong, that are horrible. And that's something that I've been working towards myself, is facing my monster and saying, okay, who is this monster? What is he? I think of like, Eminem songs where he says, he references Slim Shady, as in it's not him. It's just, kind of an excuse. I see that as like an excuse way of looking at it. Like, oh, that's not me. That was Slim Shady or whatever. But it's not even a... But then you just get it, you just get there, you kind of sit there and you're like, wait a minute, no, that still was you. Like, that's you, it's a part of you. But being able to identify him, and say, okay, hey, you are the monster, you're a part of me, but wait a minute. I just realized something. I don't know if I'm supposed to be out here. I don't know if I need to be out here now. Whatever, I'll get to that later. But if you say to the monster, hey, you're a part of me, I know that, but you're not going to be in charge, then you can use him as a tool more than you can use him when you want him, not when he wants you. And I think that's the key part, is that, like if my sis, I substitute taught for one of my sister's classes, and for some reason, one of the guys started, I don't think it was anything inappropriate, but I think I heard her say, hey, why'd you touch me? And I knew my monster, part of my monster is getting angry quick. So I drew him out a little bit. I said, okay, I need you right now because the regular Carter is kind of timid and shy. I need the monster right now. I need this guy to know the monster a little bit. And so I told him, hey, I just kind of announced that a little bit. I said, hey, I know I make fun of her, but ain't nobody gonna touch her. And the entire class went, whoa, because they know, because that's the thing, is that when you've tamed that monster, when you've not tamed him, when you've gotten control of that monster, people can tell. I'm not sure how, and again, I'm not sure that I fully know my monster yet, or I don't know if I fully know my monster yet, or even or if I even truly, completely have a rein on him. I think I have most of a rein on him, because a lot of times I feel like beating people. If that's me being brutal, if that's me being open and totally honest, then I do have a rein on him, but I don't think I know him completely, because there's things that I'm realizing that I'm like, whoa, that wasn't there before. And that's why I proactively seek that out and say, I'm gonna face you, and I'm gonna conquer you, and I'm gonna get control of you before you get control of me. But when you do that, you know what you know every aspect of yourself. You know the really good things, you know the really bad things. And when you do that, you know what you're capable of, and it actually gives you a bit more confidence, because you can say, no, I am in control of absolutely everything in my life. Absolutely everything. So that way, when the monster starts to come out, he's yours. you're not his.